What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to talk about different pay plans and what we do at my shop, South Street Auto Care, that really just makes us different.
You play to win the game. Hello?
So let's talk pay plans. There's a million of them out there, right? Flat rate, commission, percentage, a combination of any of those, hourly, salary. What do you do? Each one has its own benefits, right? Each one has its own detractors. I'm a guy where I want all of my guys focused on one thing, right? One of the biggest things I think when you get technicians into flat rate environments and service advisors are in some other form of payment, right? You're not focused on the same thing. You got two people working for a different goal. And we all know, and then there's the downfalls, right? We all know anything commission, flat rate oriented, right? You send a technician, right? There's my 14 bays are out there. You send a technician out there, and guess what happens? You put them on flat rate. They got two hoists, and that's a two hoist island, right? We've all been there. We've all seen it. We've all watched guys whine, right? I don't want to go into that. It sucks. It crushes, right? Very hard to create a culture. It creates a culture. Creates a me culture. Creates an asshole culture. I understand that, right? So anyhow, I took my business and I said, I don't want to deal with grown people whining like school kids. Oh, you got the right car and you got the right hours. And it's like, shut up, man. Shut up. Like, it's all, in the end, if you're on flat rate, works itself out. And oh, by the way, if you're a technician watching this and you whine about that stuff, be the path of least resistance. Be the guy who does the least bitching. And if you're good at fixing cars, guess what? You're going to be taken care of. I promise you'll have cars. But whatever, that's a different topic. So we sat down and we said, hey, guys, we want to do something different, right? So we went to our technicians, we went to our service advisors and said, let's do something unique that no one else does. And we're going to work our way through it. We're going to figure it out. And what we came up with was a gross profit commission bonus plan, right? That's the long-winded name of it. And took a lot of work, a lot of thought, a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of, modeling, a lot of it took 3 months of real hard work to make sure we knew what we were doing, the implementation, the actual, mechanics of doing the paychecks. When do we do that? How do we do projections? But I can get into all of that, not in this video. I'm going to give you the very basics. And then, probably Drake and I will give you a little bit of conversation around the cool things that have happened because of this pay plan. But I'll give you the very basics of it. So we look at, and we use a term called gross profit. It's for our purposes, we use the term gross profit. This maybe isn't a real gross profit, but that's what we call this plan. And now what ends up happening is our service advisors are on it, our technicians are on it. Everybody in the building is essentially on this plan. We all have one goal. And you know what the best thing is? The one goal for us at this point is make the customer happy, right? Because the way it's formulated and the way it's set up, a technician doesn't whine if he misses out on an easy job that he should be getting paid for it. And we say, let's help out the customer because they say, cool, yeah, let's help out the customer because it doesn't punish that technician in this, flat rate world where he might have got $150 to do that job, right? In our world, he might only get $10 to do that job, right? So anyhow, we'll explain the very basics and then, we'll talk a little bit about how it's helped our culture and our environment. So one of the first things we look at is revenue. Right? And that's sales. That's really any money coming in, and it can come from all sorts of things, right? Parts, labor, sublet, shop supplies. I don't know. You might sell shirts. I don't know. We've had customers ask us to sell them shirts. I don't know. We're not going to. As a side note, Drake, we're not going to be selling shirts. So, so whatever you sell, right? That's some form of revenue, and we include, right? So when oil was $600. Or $600. When people were paying for oil, we would get $600 a month for our used oil. We put that in that revenue number, right? Don't try and cheat your guys. We didn't try and cheat them out of any money. We try and said, let's all figure out all of the ways to make the most we can. So we have a revenue. It can be whatever comes in the register. And I want to get into this very quickly. I am not submitting that this plan is for everybody. And I can think of all sorts of scenarios where this plan doesn't work. What I want to do is promote some thinking, right? I want to promote, hey, that maybe that a portion of that works for my business, or all of that works for my business, or none of that works for my business, but man, that really stimulated me to think about this, right? I love this stuff, right? Anytime you guys want to have a convo about this, hit me up. would love to. But so we have so I just want a disclaimer on this, but I want to give it so you guys have an idea. Revenue, right? So a busy month for us, right? We might do 250K, right? In total revenue. Of that, right? Our parts cost might be, for simplicity, we'll make it 20%, right? So revenue coming in, right? Cost of parts is, 20%. So we'll call it 50K. Man, I write with chicken scratch. So our parts cost is 50K. One of the other expenses, and so why do we? Right, so why do we use parts? Who's in charge of buying the parts? Right, service advisors. Right, service advisors have to make buying decisions. We have an inventory of $35,000 to $40,000 worth of inventory 10 feet that way. Right, sometimes we don't even use that inventory. Right, if the time is right and the timing is right, we'll go price shop. Right, so we want to push this parts purchases number down. Right. So now what happens is everybody in the building is like looking for ways to save money, and you'll understand a little bit more about that. So now you have shop supplies, right? So why shop supplies? Well, technicians use brake clean, right? If they don't have to take any, right? They don't have to take anything out of their pocket to use shop supplies. They'll abuse and waste shop supplies, guys. There's just no way around that, right? I've watched it. Once we implemented this plan, my shop supplies cost went down. Somehow, our revenue grew dramatically, right? And our shop supplies went down dramatically. Now, it wasn't thousands of dollars in a month, right? It was percentage points because our shop supplies are only about $1,000 a month, right? But it went down dramatically in percentage points. So we'll call this 1K, right? So now we have sublet, right? Everyone does sublet a little bit different, and that might be, buying gasoline because the car was dropped off with no gas in it. It might be tow bills, it might be windshields, right? Whatever, you guys understand what sublet is for us, right? We're about 1K in sublet a month. Then we have this thing, we essentially call it other, and it's other items, right? So who's in charge of the heat? Right? Who's in charge of the gas bill in the winter around here, right? It could be me, and I could be this dictator asshole who walks around and says, no heat for you, like we're not doing heat this year, right? Shit costs too much money, we're not doing heat. Well, that doesn't work, right? And I don't want to be the guy who whines and moans. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put it in their hands, right? And so we've had years where they don't turn the heat on until like January, and we're in Michigan, guys. It's cold. But here's the deal. They don't want to spend money on gas. Why? Because it comes out of this gross profit calculation that I'll show you in a second, right? So we have this other, we have things in there like damaged cars. So if you damage a car and we have to fix it, right? Everyone in the building pays for it. So gas, electric, water, damaged cars. We have other things that are in there, and we can get into specifics if you're interested. That other might also be 1K a month, right? So here's what ends up happening, right? We take revenue, $250,000, minus cost of parts, minus the cost of shop supplies, minus the cost of sublet, minus the cost of the other items, and we get $197, right, Drake? Yep. Yeah, that's good. Check my math, buddy. Right?
Last time you should be checking your math.
Yeah. All right, so we now have 197,000, and we call this, right, GP, right? So that's, and actually I'll write that out, right? Gross profit, okay? So bam, gross profit. So now what ends up happening is, and this is tricky, and we can get into how we figured all this out. And really what I did, I took the market, which is like $30 an hour flat rate, and I said, here's how much work each technician produces. And then I came up with a percentage for each technician and each service advisor, right? And so each service advisor, right, or technician gets a percentage of our gross profit. So what happens is, if I'm a 1%, right, technician, right, I get 1%. Can you read that as 1%? Okay, I get 1% of the $197,000, right? So I get $1,970, right? From our gross profit. So here's what happens. Gross profit goes up. He still gets the 1%. So if the gross profit is $250,000, which it's never, but let's say it was, he'd get $2,500 in gross profit. That's his portion of our company's gross profit. So do you see what happens as a technician, as a service advisor? I'm focused on making sure I buy parts. I don't waste parts, right? If I'm a technician, I don't abuse them and say, oh, I don't know, sorry. I return parts. Oh man, do we return the crap out of parts, right? You want to like solve your parts return problem, and for us, we can send back $1,000 return orders. Get these guys to have to pay for them, right? You want to get rid of this dead part sitting on your shelf that have been there for years? Implement something like this and say, every time that part sits there, that costs you money. Yep, warranty claim. Oh man, we do the crap out of warranty claim. I got a stack of warranty claims in that drawer over there, probably 50 deep. And every time that rep walks in, we're like, bam, warranty claim, bam, warranty claim. I don't even, guess what, guys? I'm the owner. I just say, hey, we need to do that. And they're like, yeah, I got you, because guess what? I don't want this crap taken out of my pocket, right? So it is, and we'll Drake and I will do a little convo about, man, how this has changed or transformed this business, and how much different it looks than other shops. But let me finish this, right? So we do a, we also do a base pay, so and we do this on a month, right? So this is a full month, right? And we split up the paychecks over it, and we can get into all the details if you're interested. But we also do a base pay. So like in this scenario, this guy would have had a base pay, right, of $1,000, right? So we take his percentage of the gross profit, we take his base pay. You want to know how we got a base pay? Ask me, I'll give you. And why? Actually, I didn't really want to do base pay. My HR guy was kind of like, you might want to have that. So, so $29.70, right? So let's say this is the month of June, right? So for the month of June, this guy, whoever this guy is, old Bob the technician, right? He made $29.70, right? So that's the gist of this, right? So that's the mechanics, that's the numbers. Pretty dumbed down version of it, and not as intricate and as deep as it could be, right? But this will give you the basics. So for anybody, again, who wants to know more about this, hit me up, man. Call me, email me, post. I love this stuff. Be happy to talk to you more about it. Be happy to give you, what's up, Drake?
Technicians working together.
We're going to jam on that in a minute. You just sit tight, buddy. Right? I have all of the spreadsheets that I use. I'll be more than happy to give them to you, teach you how we use them. I have all of the documentation when we implemented this, right? I can give you the pay plans and the pay agreements that we give to new hires. I'll be happy to give all of that stuff to you guys. But this is something that has transformed our business. And in the next video, Drake and I will spend some time really discussing how much different, right, it is to work at this shop than it is any other shop. And I could get, right, we'll do it with Drake. I could get any guy in this building to walk up here and do this interview, or do this discussion about how much different it is to work here than any other shop, because of culture, because of pay plan, because of employee relations, because of all of these things. But I can promise you this is a huge part of why we are such a damn good place to work.